Hello, guys. This is Alex Julian, or Aloysius Zanderman here. I did recently complete a review for Michael Jackson's Bad Album. And completing my review for Michael Jackson's Bad Album leads me also, just as a reminder, that the Bad Album was not a bad album unless you are not really so used to that sarcasm of the pinball gaming age. After all, when you think about it, is there really a space demon or a speed demon somewhere on the road? Well, probably if you play a lot of video games and have a sense of humor about a pinball and where pinballs go. And I give a toast to that sort of 1980s mockery. But I will continue this talk show with mentioning of another subject. The subject being cliches and also reviews. My question is this: can reviews become cliches? Is it ever possible for a review to become a cliche? Is it possible for us to stare at the stars of the world and forget what the stars mean? Well, definitely my answer to that is yes. It is possible for us to forget what the stars of a review mean, because we do live in an age where there's a lot of atheism. Atheists are not very grateful for the stars. And in this day and age, there are a lot of atheists. Atheists who do not appreciate information we get about the stars. Yeah, religion can seem to be something that is overrated by certain individuals. But then again, other than a story about a legend or a legend itself, what else is there? And when I talk about stars for a review, I mean a review that gives stars. You have read reviews or have seen reviews where a reviewer will say, I give this work of art 3 stars out of 5 stars. Or 4 stars out of 5 stars. Or 2 stars out of 5 stars. You know what the stars are for reviews, right? You know what stars are for reviews. Reviewers often give stars for their reviews. Reviewers will often give stars, and reviewers continue on with their stars, and reviewers do give stars for works of art. But that could be a problem in the future if the public forgets what the stars mean. So, although you would probably know that reviewers on Amazon.com give full approval of this work of art, well, that can become a cliche really quickly. It can become something outdated, something that lacks explanation. And definitely, we have to remember that it doesn't just end with the stars. Um, Individual reviewers would come to their stars with their reasons for the stars, their beliefs for the stars, their ideas for the stars. And it's not just with the stars that we consider reviews, but it's also the ideas. The ideas for the stars, which would be for the reviews. And reviewers do have their ideas with their stars, and it doesn't just end with the stars. And there's a lot to say about ideas for a star. So let's give a toast to that with a toast to our creation. Stars, ideas. Ideas for stars. And definitely, we should not think of stars as being a substitute for ideas. Over time, there will be the replacement of ideas with stars. Often, art websites like Amazon.com, for example, or maybe even eBay.com, or even DeviantArt.com, where I'm doing my art on. These art websites have little to no time to really tell us what ideas are out there. And they go to the stars because the stars are a quicker gathering of some kind of public syntax of public approval and public disapproval for the stars, for the works of art. And we would go to these stars to hope that there would be some kind of immediate understanding of the works of art, but that's all in vain because there are the stars, but ideas take a lot more time to consume. And definitely, reviewers know that their ideas speak louder than the stars because of how the ideas take us into more progress. The ideas take us into more depth, and there's more of a deeper universe with these ideas. Reviewers give us so many ideas about what their stars mean, and there's definitely hope in this universe for their stars to mean something as much as their ideas. But then again, it is possible for the public to take a quick peek at the stars and to ignore the ideas. That can go wrong because reviewers know that critics especially know that it's their ideas that make something for the stars, and the stars are just a surface to the understanding, and not the deep literature that exists for the ideas that lead to those stars. So, for example, let's say for this video that I'm doing that I give stars for the Bad album by Michael Jackson. Let's say for the Bad album by Michael Jackson, I give 3 stars out of 5 for the Bad album by Michael Jackson. Well, that would be a pretty lousy motive just in the front of it, because um, 3 stars out of 5 does not accurately describe the ideas I have about the Michael Jackson album. And I have already done a 30-minute video for the Bad album by Michael Jackson, in which for 30 minutes I express my ideas about the Michael Jackson album. And hey, I may give 3 stars out of 5 to the Michael Jackson album called Bad, but I think 30 minutes is a long time to talk about it, and definitely it's only here in this video that I express the rating at all, just to give my audience a little bit of a tease for their secrecy of research in this public area, which is the public area of Michael Jackson's honor and legacy for the past, even with Michael Jackson gone with wind, of course. Now, definitely, stars. We do have to think of stars as something that could sort of seem like ideas, but definitely there's more to ideas and more to stars. But definitely there's more to stars, and it's the ideas that get to the reviewer's notice. And it is with the reader's notice, a reviewer's notice, that ideas come to flourish with a description of the true qualities of a work of art. Now, there are artists who try to chintz it a little, and artists would say, "Oh, leave me alone. I have my own style." And Michael Jackson tried to say something like that with his Bad album, but it doesn't work that way, dude. I mean, definitely critics and reviewers will give their stars. They will give their ideas. They will give their grades. They will give their points. And those do matter on a grand scale of things, because of how there's the weight to the quality of art versus the information about art. Because it's not just about the quality of a work of art, it's also about the information about the quality, because it's the information that could tell us what quality is. It's the information that could tell us where quality goes, how quality comes about, and in what respects do we have quality for the matter of quality in the first place, as in, where does quality go, and how quality actually meets with our standards for quality. And that's not so easy to answer, especially since stars can look prettier than the works of art themselves. That's interesting, huh? Think about that. Stars that look prettier than the works of art. Oh, oh, I'm sure artists are now pulling their hair out from hearing this. I'm sure there are artists who are hearing me out, and artists are pulling their hair out because now the artists are wondering, well, how could stars be prettier than my work of art? And I will tell them, well, I'm sorry, but I have my ideas for my stars. And the presence of the stars is a symbol of the presence of my ideas. And it's with my ideas that I give remarks to works of art. And with my ideas, I could definitely put the stars in limbo. I could definitely juggle the stars as if the stars are equations to the matters of quality in some degree or another. But definitely, as a philosopher myself, as someone with philosophy, I can have a good sense of humor about where stars go for works of art. Should it be 3 stars? Should it be 2 stars? Should it be 1 star? And why would 1 star be better than 5 stars if we can count 1 star quicker than 5 stars? If we can count 1 star quicker than 5 stars, why would 1 star matter less than 5 stars? There's a lot of funny stuff about this. And definitely, a work of art is very important for the reason that we do have our juggling of the stars. We have the juggling of our grades. And I'm sure there are those artists who would say something to the effect that, having a C on a subject is okay. Having a few stars missing is not all that bad. But then again, where does it end with that matter? Where does it even begin? I think there is something very funny and something very hilarious about the presence of stars, the presence of grades, the presence of A's, the presence of F's, the presence of C's and D's and B's. With how it goes when it comes to grades on top of grades. And definitely there could be laughter and something of a word of mouth, where the mouth goes, for the grades, for the stars, for the points to give to a work of art, such as like the work of art can almost seem to be a camouflage of that very surface with consideration of the stars, the points, the grades. So does a grade like A need to equal 5 stars or 1 star? I mean, I thought the grade of A means the one and only, But I would be kidding myself. Having the best grade in art does not mean having the only grade in art. And definitely with this talk show tonight, with my tributes to my Diet Pepsi, I think there's a lot on the surface to consider when it comes to stars for stars, as in grades for grades, A's for A's, B's for B's, C's for C's. I don't know. When it comes to the presence of A's, the presence of five stars, the presence of excellence, um, how does that connect to a work of art if the quality is right where the symbol would be, but yet for the symbol to have yet make a placement on for the reception of the label for the recognition of the status, as in for the contact to be right on our smell, our touch, our sight, when it comes to how a grade of excellence can form that recognition in us for what it means to have stars on grades, as in stars on sight, stars for our two eyes, stars for our understanding, especially if there's a lot of misunderstanding about what it means to give notice and give recognition for the stars, because those could still involve ideas and take us longer and longer to dispute on with our quantity of ideas, as in the information we have about stars for the stars, grades for the grades, points for the points. And who knows? Um, Maybe there's a lot to joke on when it comes to our imperfection in recognition, our imperfection in awareness. As in, it's like, yeah, we have those grades, we have those stars, we have those points for the works of art, but then again, um, where's the awareness? Especially if ideas are to get longer and longer and more quantified, as in the information bag would get bigger and bigger and bigger, with there being um, more, more points and grades and stars for information, and more information for the points and grades and stars itself, more information itself. Um, and who knows if having all of those ideas would be worthwhile in going for a scratch here or there, when it comes to the notice, the recognition, the awareness of putting 2 on 2 and 4 on 4 and 6 on 6 and 8 on 8 and 10 on 10. Um, and it does get really immense when it comes to the amount of pride that we can admit to ourselves when we come to this surface of the grades, the stars, the points, especially with all of those ideas that we should have to come to recognition of the grades, to come to that awareness of the stars. I don't know. There was that song a long time ago that said, "Stars fell on Alabama tonight," but that song, but um, would falling stars actually start us somewhere? Or would it be better for stars to remain in their places? definitely there's something to crack up on when it comes to stars that fall and stars that remain in place, as in stars that may go forward, or stars that may go up, or stars that may go down. And definitely there's the positioning of the grades, the positioning of the points, the positioning of the stars that can uh, create values for what it means to have the grade, what it means to have the stars, what it means to have the points. Uh, because after all, there would be that positioning for the grade paper. You have a piece of grade paper, and the grade paper tells you what grades you have according to the grade paper. But there's the positioning of the grade paper that can indicate where those grades go, how those grades go, um, and definitely with the stars, where the orbits are, especially if there's the circle of life. I even have a star. I have a hat. I have a hat that says, "Bless your stars." If you were allowed to bless your stars, um, would you think that it would make a difference if the stars were coated in some kind of warm and hot particle, as in star with heat and temperature? Um, let's think about that with a little sip of Diet Pepsi. Definitely, saturation and temperature both matter for the stars, as well as the grades and the points. And it could seem as if the stars, as in the spectacles, the points, the grades, take impact from the positioning and the directions and the degrees and the latitudes and longitudes of the spaces, as in how spaces connect and reconnect to stars that are seemingly extraordinary, but stars that are really matter, as in important matter for the information and where information takes us with regards to ideas for information and how long and everlasting ideas could seem for information. And it's not right for anyone right now to be bored about it, because this is a really exciting and wonderful trip that I'm taking anyway, for recognition of the stars, recognition of the grades, recognition of the points. And it definitely is great that there could be points on the values and values on the points. And in the long term of it, when it comes to reviews and stars, it is more important to read the reviews rather than just reading the stars, because we have more ideas than we have stars. And as long as we have more ideas than we have stars, as long as there are more ideas and less stars, ideas will take the counter punch and be superior in a point of contrast for a conversation that demands for importance on a point of view.